With all of the titles and responsibilities you hold, this one this morning, I believe, is probably one of the greatest. So, welcome and good morning. To all of the sponsors who are a part of this organization, whether this year for the first year or since inception, and to the students who continue to benefit from this very important event here in Montego Bay, and everybody else like myself who we hope that we will be able to participate and contribute. I'll tell you in a minute why I hope. Good morning to you all. It is really an honor and a privilege to bring greetings for this very important event that has become a staple on the calendar for Montego Bay. The fact that I am familiar with the start of it and was sort of peripherally involved, like carry water, that kind of thing, for those who were more integral to the process and played a critical role, my sister included. I believe that it is amazing to see, with dedication and persistence, how you have transformed and maintained the integrity of the run, and to have lived 10 years thus far. 10
of the MoBay City Run. And may I at this time express our profound condolences to Adam Stewart and his family on her passing. I do hope that the memories of the past and the good times you share with her will overshadow the burden that you now have to face. And may her soul rest in peace. The MoBay City Run has no bias. It does not differentiate and is all inclusive. It involves the young and the old, the rich and the poor. It has no gender preference. It is not political. As you can see today, we have a Senator, Janice Allen, and we have his mayor, his version, the mayor, from opposing parties. And as a matter of fact, it all brings us all together, and it endorses unity, and truly and really it emphasizes our motto, out of many, one people. A mother once said to her son that you are one of the luckiest persons to have walked this earth. But if you use your fortune for nothing but self-enrichment, then I'll consider you a failure. And I think this message resonates in the minds of all of our sponsors. And as such, we've been giving back as much as we can. And we're delighted to be a part of this institution. And I am also thinking that the awardees, the recipients of all these scholarships or finances, they're probably even more delighted than we are. Malcolm X once said, education is a passport to the future, because tomorrow brings, because tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. We all know that the proceeds of these runs go largely towards the financing of education of students going to universities, I believe, and sometimes going to secondary high schools. And educated people will always make informed decisions, which naturally will help us to have a better society.
His Worship the Mayor, Richard Vernon, our youngest mayor to date, probably the youngest mayor in Jamaica. Welcome to the fold. I have a friend in this room that has been my friend for over 26 years, maybe 27 now. His name is Brian Jardine. He used to be my brother before Adam came into my life. It was all about Brian and it was all about Max. It's still about them, but I am happy that I have now brought Adam into my life. In fact, I can go over his house any day and go and sit down on the back on the terrace and work. I have been given special permission to do that. And the chef, I don't know if he's a chef or he's what his name is. Andre calls me very often and tell me what to say on Facebook. So I am very, very fortunate to have these people in my life. But I want to also recognize members of the media, Senator Janice Allen, who will tell you that she was there from, and it's a fact. And I will go to the members of the committee. Last year when we were staging the run, we almost lost the venue. And had it not been for the intervention of Ms. Crosskill, who had just been appointed as the CEO of the St. James Municipal Council, we wouldn't be here today. We would not be able to host the event in the park. So, you know that you're a part of us now. Yeah, that's why I had to have you here this morning. And I also want to say a special thank you to Dr. John Gordon, who was in Europe when I asked him if he would speak here this morning. He wasn't sure he was going to be here back in Jamaica. But he's here, so I want to thank you, sir. I'll talk about other things afterwards. 10 years ago, amidst the hustle and bustle of university life, a seed was planted, a simple yet profound idea that would grow into something truly remarkable. It began with the humble act of an auction. I would auction my clothes on Facebook, and people would pay for it, and sometimes they would take the clothes, and sometimes they would say, okay, keep the money because it would help students. And how did I? I've told this story many times, and each time I tell it, it's better. I used to auction my clothes because I would see students being turned out of their exams, and I felt like we can't allow that. They're there in university, they can't access their course outlines, they can't access anything because they're not paid their fees. And I felt that if I could do anything about it, I would do. So I started auctioning my clothes. So this act of kindness was born out of empathy, passion, and it blossomed into something much greater. As the demand for assistance grew, so did my vision. I was not content with the limited funds that I was making on Facebook. So I organized a bazaar. Rallying the community, we raised $300,000 from the bazaar. And Flo at the time, Michelle English was the CEO at the time. Michelle English matched it with $300,000. So we got $600,000 in the beginning, 10 years ago. Maybe 8 years ago? No, 10. Is it 10th anniversary we did that, right?
11 years.
Right, so 11 years. But even with $600,000 we needed, there was a vast number of students in need of help. And other schools outside of UWI, which was the school I was helping at the time, thought, you can't just be helping UWI. There are other institutions in Montego Bay where other students need to be pulled up. So UTEC came to us, MoBay College came to us, Sam Sharp Teachers College came to us. So I was driven by this unwavering commitment to make a difference, and so we founded MoBay City Run in collaboration with my alma mater, which is the UWI Western Jamaica campus. I want to big up UWI, because if UWI did not believe in what I was doing, we would not be here today. Our compassion grew and had no bounds. We recognized the need of the other people in our city, and we're proud of that.
For being a woman in the room, a powerful woman in the room, to say it like it is and to call a spade, to say the things that other people were afraid to say. We used to call my wife Honest Jill, because she don't really business who you were, who you think you were, what you thought. She too, like Janet, had a big voice, and she believed in empowering people. She loved the city. She moved here 20 years ago, and she came from the Bahamas, And she fell in love with this city for a multitude of reasons. But Janet and Jill's relationship was formed prior to the run, but through the run. The run underlines the power of education. And so many of us have had the good fortune of being exposed in this life. And as you get a bit older, you realize that life really is a journey of seeing and experiencing. You know, put it in any way you want, it's education, it's exposure. Exposure is the greatest gift of all. And Janet, through her own educational matriculation, came up with this concept and this idea. And my wife believed in bringing people together through sport. And for sport being that clarity, I see Richard shaking his head, for being that clarity, for you to excel in whatever it is that you're doing. So if you marry sport, and she was a trained educator, if you marry sport with education, that was a formula to achieve anything that you could want in this life. So she probably didn't realize the impact she was having on the city of Montego Bay by galvanizing and supporting Janet at large. She was just doing what she thought was right at the time, and she did win the 5 and the 10K, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But my job here today is really to pay respect to you, Janet, and to your entire amazing team, everyone who is up here, and Luz and Emiria, and all of you that do this for the most extraordinary reason. And to say, I've had a lot of amazing things done for me in my life, but to have this run named in her honor is probably the most humbling of anything I've endured. And I want to commit to you that we're going to continue to support this run, because this run is awesome. It's run by awesome people in the most extraordinary town and city of Montego Bay that we know. We haven't even yet come close to achieving our truest potential. And it feels to me every year we get closer and closer to pulling together to make sure that we can lift this town up to be the greatest and the best of its potential. So I wanted to say a huge thank you, and something quite cool came out of this. My wife wanted to give the gift of shoes, running shoes, to people who couldn't afford them but wanted to run. And my eldest daughter, all on her own, 12 years old, came up with the idea. She likes to make bracelets and beads, and she formed a little company called Jelly Beads. And since my wife's passing, which tomorrow will be 8 months, she has raised enough money to donate over 100 pairs of running shoes for this year. So it shows that coming together for the right causes can inspire anyone, even in the adversity that we have faced. She has been inspired to live on her mom's legacy, and Janet, you've given us that platform. I want to say a huge thank you, and to everybody that makes this happen. This is awesome. We're going to raise that $7 million by hook or by crook. And we're going to have a massive turnout this year. Everybody, thank you, Janet. This is beyond humbling. We love you. Thank you so much. And don't forget about Brian, because we're still, big brother, little brother is all one love, you know? Thank you, everybody.
That's what you ended with, and that's also what this race is about.
Idea that is often interpreted as education being the key to success. But the truth is that this idea has been proven time and again. It is indeed the key to success, but it is more than a personal venture. It is a social responsibility to be educated. And I'll tell you why I say this. In my further address, I will tell you and justify why it's a social responsibility. There are gaps between ascertaining education and the application of education. There are many persons who acquire it, but they do not apply it, and it creates a gap. Because what you have to do is apply your education to yield the positive returns. And the same is true for how the institutional architecture of our society is arranged. Applied education is the key to securing a sustainable future. In a trip down memory lane, we recall that Jamaica lost a significant proportion of her tertiary educated students since 1970 to brain drain, which significantly reduced our institutional capacity and depleted the pool of skilled human resources available to private and public sector. Approximately 30% of our population has acquired tertiary education over the last 50 years, and over 85% of that population migrated in the same period. Think about that. 30% of our population acquired tertiary education in the last 50 years, and 85% of that 30% of the population migrated. And this has been a massive blow to our development agenda, as we lack the skill set to conceptualize, implement, manage in this rapidly globalized world. For instance, limited institutional capacity negatively impacts crime management. It impacts healthcare delivery. It impacts the programs that we need to implement for economic enhancement. And it impacts an efficient education system. And just to name a few. These shortcomings intensify push factors in our already vulnerable social environment.
Okay.